inviting me today, Toby. So my talk today is going to be around a holistic approach to well-being. In my career of 20 years in HR and OD, I've seen where it's focusing on just physical or just mental, and actually as human beings, we're all wonderful and unique and complex. So this is what this will be about. So this is around where the sweet spot, where heart meets mind. Gary, it's not working. I'm clicking it. Yeah, I'm clicking. No, I'm just clicking that.
Are you on?
Oh. Oh. What did I do wrong?
I don't know.
No, just down,
Keep
yeah.
on clicking, yeah, just down, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. Just going to share this video to start the session off.
Daddy, I want my breakfast!
Okay, sweetheart, just give me 5 minutes.
If you don't leave in the next 5 minutes, you're gonna be late.
Come on, get your shoes on. Yep, no problem. I'll be there in 5 minutes.
Try not to worry about it, okay? I'll look after the kids tonight, and then you can work, it'll be fine.
Got a meeting in 5 minutes, mate.
Give me 5, yeah? Okay, I love you. See you later.
You never answer your phone anymore. You can't even give your oldest friend 5 minutes.
Mum, why does Daddy always sit in his car before he comes in?
I think Daddy just needs an extra 5 minutes.
Daddy's home!
So who's had a day where you need 5 minutes? Put your hands off. So I thought that was really emotional. I thought it was really impactful. And I think it really sheds light on, we can't just focus on the person at home. It's just not going to work. So work and life are now blended. We used to have this talk of work-life balance, and it's just not the way that the world is. So life pressures show up in work and vice versa. Technological advances are great, but you'll have recognised the boss is calling, the wife's calling, the kids ill in nursery. It's pressure, pressure, pressure all the time. And more importantly, we used to come in work 9 till 5. Now we get the calls on the way to work, or we forgot something and we get the calls on the way from home. So a total wellbeing approach is vital. That's a key theme that I hope that everybody takes away from today. And our wellbeing role as professionals has never been more important. It's a really important role. It can feel thankless sometimes, I'm sure. And when we talk about total wellbeing, it's the impact that kindness, emotional intelligence, resilience, mental fitness, training and space to actually do our job, because sometimes we're not even able to do that because we don't have the things that we need. Feeling valued and feeling appreciated are all really important as well. And when I say resilience, I've found in the NHS it's a bit of a trigger word, because it's like, how dare you say I'm resilient? I put the hours on, I deal with the things that no one else can cope with. And I agree, so it's important we talk about emotional resilience when we're talking about that. Role modelling really sets the culture, so that boss would do well to not call until they're here, right? People want employability, not a job for life anymore. So people want skills, they want training to be better. So my name is Beth, I'm a workplace wellbeing consultant. I'm also a leadership and emotional intelligence coach. The reason Toby's invited me today is I have been head of people transformation at Liverpool Heart and Chest Hospital for the last 2.5 years. I just left before Christmas, but me and the team were able to do some really good things. So hopefully there's some inspiration and you know, learning and sharing that we can share with you about some of the mistakes that we made as well. So when I was at Heart and Chest, there was a few campaigns that we ran that were received particularly well. One was the Be Civil, Be Kind campaign. One was Live Well, Work Well. The other one was enhancing psychological support by linking in with on-site psychology team rather than an EAP. Worked really well. This doesn't like me. Okay. So this became our mantra at Liverpool Heart and Chest. I love a quote. Does anyone else like a quote? And I think this is such a powerful one. So in a world where you can be anything, be civil and kind. So this is a bit of a spin on the whole, in a world where you can be anything, be kind. And that's because we came up with a culture transformation project called Civil and Kind. And that was because there was a backstory. So this was our logo. We noticed that in really high pressured areas, such as theatres, cath labs, things like that, incivility was rising amongst teams. People were really unhappy in a lot of areas. There was a lot of infighting. There was conflict. And what that was resulting in is managers, HR, they were getting bogged down with grievances, disciplinaries, having to manage and mitigate all of those challenges. So it was really important. And the boards were really great with this as well. They wanted to set some expectations about, we all have personality clashes, we have conflicting priorities, but we do also need to remain, you know, respectful and professional in the workplace as well. So we launched the Be Civil, Be Kind Culture Transformation Project. I don't know whether anyone can identify Nigel. He's in the bottom right. He was the Deputy Director, Medical Director at Heart and Chest. He's now the Medical Director at Chester. So Nigel and I co-led on this programme. I think it's really important that we engage with other departments. So for me or the OD team to run out and launch this, I know it's not always probably going to land with clinical team. We probably need to bring in other people to help role model those behaviours as well. So, Be Civil, Be Kind, we defined what the problem was, and we also defined what good looks like. Sometimes we can get these instructions from exec and we're like, well, what does good look like? I love that question because it's fix this. And it's like, well, what is it that you want? What does good look like? So we engaged with the whole trust for feedback. So we were asking what is causing these challenges? What are the real problems here? And what would good look like? So from that, we were able to create our living our values every day. So that was things like what we love to see, what we expect to see, and what we don't want to see. So again, really simple ways of trying to get that conversation going. And then using that data, we co-created a civility charter, and it's literally on everything. It goes through induction, so when people are applying for jobs, they know about it. When they're on induction, it's embedded as well. It's on people's signatures, it's on posters everywhere, and it's also been incorporated in appraisals, wellbeing conversations. So it's not just a poster on the wall, it's the way we do things around here. So we encourage conversations around the importance. We revised all our policies. So we found that some of our policies, they weren't necessarily kind and compassionate. So by having this project, we were able to have those conversations that we're saying that we're civil and we're kind, but actually we could do better in these areas, because that helps. Not, you know, if you go to an organisation and you're sharing, let's all be civil and kind, unless we're walking our walk and talking the talk, it doesn't make sense. So How many people have been involved with a culture or they've seen a poster and it just doesn't resonate? It just doesn't align. You're like, this is actually a load of, you know what I mean? I'm sure most people in the room, right? So it's really important that we revise so that we become who we say that we are. So we provided Speak Up guidelines. There's probably some FTSU champs in the room, I would have thought, as well. So they were really important with helping with all of this. And this was about empowering conversations. So that logo may seem like just a logo, but actually it helped people who felt like they've been treated not very nicely to say, are your behaviours civil and kind? Rather than, I don't like the way that you've just spoke to me. It's a different conversation. Because what you're doing is you're setting the expectation, and then what you're also doing is reinforcing the message, but you've got the backing that this is what the organisation are promising as well. Yeah? We invited professional actors to bring this to life. Has anybody used Afterthought? Okay. If anyone's got any money, I know that's a big question. I've worked in HR and OD for over 20 years. I don't work with them, I'm not affiliated. They are the most impactful, emotive, powerful way of learning that I've ever experienced. I've worked all over the world, worked with some of the best consultants. They are phenomenal. So what changed here? We brought them on site. Now, one of our challenges is time. So especially clinical staff, we can't get them out. So because we had buy-in from the board on this agenda, they were able to come and attend just an hour or 2 hour slot on the audit days. You know, the protected days, I don't know whether you call them the same. And what they do is they provide a scenario. So we would share some scenarios with them about what's happening. So maybe in theatre, often there's a cardiologist or a consultant who is amazing at saving lives, incredibly talented, but perhaps not the most people-friendly person. Have you got anyone like that? So what this was able to do was bring to light a scenario, but then the ripple effect. So when somebody was spoken to unkindly, how did that impact? And it was bringing to life not just the person who had been treated that way. They feel not safe to speak up. So if there's a problem, if there's an issue, if there's a life-threatening scenario that they think they have an answer to, they no longer want to speak up because they are scared of being told off. The people who've witnessed it are impacted. On their drive home, they may get into road rage because they've had a bad day at work. They go home to their family. I know I do. Take a bit out on my husband. Does anybody? So this ripple effect is huge. So being able to call out poor behaviour in the moment and making it be just the way you do things around here, it can really help. So we launched appreciation cards as well, because what we found was a lot of people spoke really kindly about the people that they work with, but we weren't giving them the tools to do it more. So what we did is, you'll see some pictures of what they look like. We came up with appreciation cards, and they were things like, thanks for your support today. Couldn't have got through today without you. You're amazing at what you do. You know, thanks for always being there. Just, you know, really nice cards. And we made it easy. We provided them in all areas. And what people were sharing is at the end of the day, they're going in the locker and there's a card popping out. And it's just, it's not much and it's super inexpensive, especially if you've got your own comms team. It's just the printing. But it really made a difference. So much so, if you go into our coffee shops, the ladies who work in there have got a full wall because staff are like, I couldn't do this job without you. So it's really nice that they're actually, you know, giving appreciation to the coffee shop people as well. And then, has anybody heard of A Kind Life? Yeah, kindness in action and A Kind Life. So it's all well and good doing all of this and embedding it in all your practices, but actually how do you have, if you're somebody who doesn't like conflict, they're not comfortable speaking up, how do you have that conversation? So I was able to get some funding back in the day when funding was available for investing in some online modules. And A Kind Life have a really good toolkit. and frameworks on how you can have those conversations professionally and respectfully. So it's things like all the frameworks that they use, they're in acronyms, so they're really simple to use. So it's, you know, speak to the person at this time. This is the language that you use to not trigger defensive behaviour. So it's all psychologically backed and founded, and it was really, really helpful. So we had a lot of feedback that people were saying that they no longer felt like they had to go to the manager. They no longer felt like they had to go to HR or Freedom to Speak Up, because they felt empowered and able to do it. Don't get me wrong, it's not perfect. Nothing ever is. But it was something that really did make a difference. On the other side, we had our staff telling us that patients and family members, their fuses were a lot shorter. They're coming in, the waits are longer, you know, they're not being communicated with, they've been told to come in for a meeting and, you know, maybe the meeting's been cancelled. There's a lot of pressures out there at the minute, so they are coming, you know, not as kind perhaps as they used to be. So again, it was our job. How do we turn this not from an employee initiative, but educating the public to treat our staff well? In the past, I've noticed a lot of zero tolerance, big red crosses, you know, all of those don't do that kinds of language. Does anybody remember the slow down for Bobby slogan? Yeah? Okay, so that inspired me with this. People don't respond to zero tolerance and crosses. They just don't. What they respond to is things that are going to land. So the slow down for Bobby, this was a child who got ran over. There'd been no 40 miles per hour signs put up. It was 20. Nobody was taking notice. Accidents still kept happening. But then signs started going up saying slow down for Bobby, or pictures saying my dad works here, because there was roadworks going on. Everybody dropped. They went from 40 to 20 because it makes sense to hit you, right? So we tried to use the it's not okay, it's kind of language, and it's part of us educating the public to be civil, be kind. And it was about, she's not just a nurse on the phone, she's a mum, a daughter, a friend, a cat lover, a nurse. The second guy, he's not just a doctor, he's a junior doctor, he's a partner, he's a son, he's a dog lover, he's a hiker. So straight away, the public, if you're sat in a ward wanting to be angry about something, it brings things back to home. It's not actually about the person. The system may be broke. And sometimes people aren't behaving as they should as well. We have to take accountability. But it's just an important message that be civil, be kind is right throughout everywhere. So that was one project that we did, be civil, be kind. Live well, work well was another, which was more around, you know, your physical and mental health well-being. So we did a pilot on this. We kept hearing that staff weren't going to the GP. They weren't able, they didn't feel able to ask for time off. They hadn't had their blood pressure, their cholesterol, diabetes checks in like forever. So what we thought was, let's bring that on site. Let's bring a GP service as much as possible on site. So we ran a pilot. It was just in our staff hub. It was quite small at first. And we had so many people attend. And from there, people, a lot were healthy, but some had conditions they didn't even know. Really high blood pressure to the point where they had to go home and go on medication immediately. All of the other things, because Liverpool Heart and Chester's cardiovascular, you know, chest and lung, we focused on those things as well. So because of that, they were then able to be diagnosed, and then they went on career pathways. And then it built momentum, really. So then it got to a point where we had to go outside, we had to get marquees, so many people were looking forward to it. So we evolved it. It was no longer just about blood pressure, cholesterol and CVD. It was about mindfulness, mental health. We brought Reiki, we brought rugby league cares, we brought somebody to plant seeds for the, you know, the planters out there, financial well-being, cancer support information if you're going through it or a family member's going through it. Physical activity information, we had lots around well-being as well. Menopause cafes, stop smoking, and environmental and sustainability as well. Now, a few things that came up, with the best possible intention, some of it did annoy a couple of people because they weren't able to attend, especially people in clinics. They always felt like it was another wellbeing initiative that they couldn't partake in. So one of the ways that we were able to do that is we mobilised mobile units. So as a learning from the feedback, I think it's really important that we always reflect and we learn and what can we do better. We did mobile units, so our nurses went towards and they had scheduled time, so they were able to look after the staff there as well. The other thing, a lot of our porters, healthcare assistants, shift workers, they were saying, you know, doing an event at lunchtime, Monday to Friday, doesn't work. So we started hosting events at 8 p.m. as well, so we were providing alternative times. So I think whenever we're doing wellbeing events, it's really important that we're as inclusive and as accessible as possible. I think, yeah, and then if we did any breath work or mindfulness or mindset sessions, we always made sure that we purchased it as an online replay, so that and then we started building a hub of you know, mindfulness or financial well-being, so it was available on replay. Some people didn't want to show up live because then people might know they're going through financial well-being, so I think it's really important to be sensitive of that. Some people weren't able to attend because they were busy on the day, so by having replays, it really helped us to be able to offer it again to as much people as possible. So I love a picture. So this is some of it. This was our first ever one. So as you can see, we've got lots of matrons, we've got doctors, porters, we've got all kinds of people there. So this was when we were just running the check. So the blood pressure, the cholesterol, diabetes checks and things like that. As you can see, the Be Civil, Be Kind logos are everywhere. They're on all of the walls in the back. I'd be really upset if anyone in the trust didn't know what Be Civil, Be Kind was. And then these are a few things that we did. So we held surgical corridor surprise days where, you know, when staff are arriving, our clinical team, we know, come in really early at 7:30. So the HR and OD team were amazing. We would come in earlier so that we could capture them on their way to work. And we were just saying, thank you. We were giving them cards to say that we're grateful for all that you do. We were giving them the opportunity to pick up a mug or a card to take to their colleague. And then people who weren't able to attend, like cath labs and theatres, we would take crates of mugs and thank you cards to them as well. And I mean, the smiles say it all. It was really, really well received. And again, super inexpensive. Doesn't take much at all. And there's some examples. So thank you for all you do. You made a difference. You made my day. And you can do whatever. I've done this in other organisations. So in Liverpool, we have our own lingo. So it was a manufacturing company, so I'd do things like your boss, nice one. So you can have fun with it, you can play with it. So we brought that to our wellbeing team, we mobilised a wellbeing team, and they were able to put in an awful lot of ideas as well. So as I said, the Live Well Work Well event really grew. To one point we had our own wellbeing festival outside, it was amazing. Really proud moment in my career for sure. And these dogs are always really well received. People up north, like Northumberland, so Aberdeen, they're called Yogi and Cindy Bear. Patients love them, the staff love them, they give the best cuddles, they're amazing. They are on Facebook, so Yogi and Cindy Bear they're called, and I actually think they're one of the most popular things that we've ever done. And as you can see, we've had Reiki and things like that as well. And we had meal prep companies come in, people doing cooking sessions and things like that. One of the other programmes that we did was LHH Belong. So that was all around, we have these EDI strategies and policies. When I came in, I changed it to EDIB. I think it's really important that you put belonging in your strategy. It's your promise. It's how you are saying that we want everyone to show up as their authentic self, but you can't just put it in a strategy and a policy. So we started creating belonging networks. So people we had like a Jamaican cook come on site, which was amazing. You know, all diversity groups were there for representation. And we started building these networks, and actually, rather than me standing there, you know, as a midlifer white woman, that's not representative of our whole organisation. So it's really important that people see what they want to be, and people want to be able to obviously help other people who are going through it. So for example, we had somebody who was going through an arranged marriage. I can empathise, but I've not been through it. So by having a wide network, we were able to signpost people, and there was lots of advocates who want to actually be a part of that conversation as well. We brought Wellbeing champions in. So these posters with a picture, the name and department, what the role was, they would be put everywhere. Again, the patients absolutely love the dog. So it's like, if you're struggling with investment, talk about patient outcome, talk about how it helps patients as well. And they were just amazing. I love them. So, make them work better on the daily. This isn't just about us doing a wellbeing event every now and again. This is about what we do every single day. So being kind, employee experience, belonging, providing opportunities, making people feel valued and appreciated. I put work environment there. When we were having the challenges around instability and we spoke to people, it was never actually about their colleague a lot. It was because they had palliative care responsibilities before work. They couldn't get a car parking space. Somebody had let them down with childcare. It's all those pressures. You know the video at the beginning? It makes you show up differently because we're human. We can't cope with all of these things flying in at the same time. We had a holistic wellbeing approach, so that was live well, work well. We had a kindness focus on our culture, which was be civil, be kind. It's really important to have emotionally intelligent leaders. Change isn't going anywhere. We're only going to become more fast-paced and dynamic and have to embrace AI and technology. And our job isn't to do change to them, it's to do it with them. So talk to them about how this is going to help you, how this is going to benefit you, how this is going to give you X amount of admin hours back, rather than, you know, the actual change. So we've already spoke about the future, creating agile cultures, ensuring leaders, you guys as well-being and HR, they're also looked after. We do so much work for everyone else, and it's like, who's looking after you? So make sure that's in your strategy. And then I love Maya Angelou. I absolutely love her, and I think this is a lovely quote. So this was around the whole hospital, just as reminders for days when people have forgot. Because like when you see Be Civil, Be Kind at first, you start ignoring it. So it was I've learned that people may forget what you said, they may forget what you did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And then there's a prompt at the bottom. What's the one thing you can do today to help one of your colleagues have a good day? So just subliminal messages like that. So thank you from me. Thank you for looking after the people who look after the people. And I'll be around for the rest of the day as well if anyone's got any questions.
Yeah, big thank you, Beth.